Along with France's centenary commemoration of World War's Armistice Day, this Saturday, the 11th of November, marks the opening of the Louvre Abu Dhabi. Announced in 2007 and initially scheduled to be completed in 2015, this is the first Louvre-branded museum outside of France. The inaugural show will present 600 works, half from the Louvre's collection and half from 13 partner museums in France. The Louvre breaks ground for forthcoming neighbors Guggenheim Abu Dhabi and the Zayed National Museum on Saudi Island, the USD $27 billion cultural district project manifesting Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan's ambition to give Abu Dhabi the enlightened facade its authoritarian regime is lacking. Saudi Island, in Arabic, translates as Island of Happiness, in Kicking the Dead 2017, a work performed during the Sterischer Herbst Festival in Graz this September. Walid Rod weaved lengthy plots around the creation of the Louvre Abu Dhabi. Drawing from extensive research and documentation on a variety of issues: World War I, Islamic art, financial scandals, the skyscraper index, historical personalities, the study of color, and much more, Rod delivered his findings through objects and storytelling. In the artist's practice, medium and subject matter never quite fit a static definition. Referred to as walkthroughs or presentations, the audience was invited to follow the artist through the gallery rooms, who took on the role of tour guide. Ultimately, as this viewer came to realize, the audience would be taken on a more extravagant performative ride than initially anticipated. Rod is a member of the Gulf Labor Artist Coalition, an organization that has been petitioning the UAE and its institutional partners to improve the living and working conditions of the workers on Saudi Island since 2010. The artist has been denied entry to the UAE since 2015, along with two other members, artist Ashok Sukumaran, and NYU professor Andrew Ross. He only mentions this in passing in Graz, speaking rather about a fictional institution that maximizes profits literally from workers' sweat by making them wear suits that transform sweat lactate into electrical energy, and store it to power AC units for the workers' village and so-called bio-batteries. Rod talked about shape-shifting artworks that traveled from Paris to Abu Dhabi and changed their appearances, as well as their shadows, a real imagined mystery. This story was a hard sell to the crowd I was in, but Rod proved it by showing exhibited models where the original shadow was painted on a colored panel while the new ones were made by the display lights. Leveraging his 3-year collaboration with the museum in Paris, Rod proved his credentials by providing a voice-over to a video of a Louvre employee transporting created artworks. Through a series of narrative loops and well-timed connections in his plot, Rod mentions the Louvre Abu Dhabi acquiring the collection of Yves Saint Laurent and his partner Pierre Berger, as well as the Versace art collection. He introduces the fictional character of Hanan, an art advisor to Sheikh Khalifa in charge of filling the empty museum, who makes the mistake of acquiring the painting collection of German novelist Erich Maria Remarque and film star Paulette Goddard, judged too Western by the Sheikh, and subsequently has trouble getting rid of it. Rod recounts Hanan's peregrinations as she finds out the paintings themselves are actually undead, which explains why they keep reappearing in their original craze each time she sends them to each of Remarque's former residences, from Osnabrück in northwestern Germany to Porto Ronco in Switzerland. In the end, after unsuccessfully following advices from physicians, fortune-tellers, and art historians, Hanan listens to a local sheikh, and sends the paintings to Ypres in Belgium, a place with many World War I ghosts, as detailed in an earlier story, and where Remarque was injured during the war. Having trained herself as a colorist, Hanan paints mirror images of each painting on their corresponding crates. The undead are rebuffed by their own reflection, thus preventing the paintings from coming back to life. In an interesting segue, this notion of mirroring is used by a researcher of the Gulf region, Alexander Kazerouni, who has previously collaborated with Rod, who proposes the notion of the mirror museum. The term denotes a strategy whereby nation-states in the region, no longer content with cultivating local heritage, use internationally visible cultural institutions to deflect attention from their internal political and social affairs. So while in France, critics against Le Louvre des Sables Louvre of the Sands lament the slipping away, some worry about the conditions in which works will be transported and kept in the commercialization of their cultural patrimony. A serious challenge remains that these shiny new museums prove themselves more than mere cultural mirages. Main image: Louvre Abu Dhabi. Courtesy Louvre Museum's photograph. Roland Halb. Opinion breaking silence. Rebecca Solnit and the not surprised letter. Opinion no more excuses following the not surprised letter. It's time to uncouple power from abuse in the art world. News briefing. Lyndon Ochlin. 19,312,017 5,000 sign open letter against sexual harassment in the art world. Opinion Life repeated 2 films using time and repetition to question our fragile relationship to live reality and revolutionary politics. Opinion Duty Calls. Hedo Sterls. Duty Free Art and a Field Guide to the Snowden Files. Opinion Different Pace. Elastic Hours. The 8th edition of the Sequences Biennial in Reykjavik, Iceland, took time scales, both short and review. Coast. Contemporary Opinion. Staying in the Room. Ways of Talking About Race and Appropriation. Claudia Rankin, Hannah Black and Tate Modern's Black Art, Black Power. Opinion Paper Tigers. The controversy over the Guggenheim's art in China after 1989 show highlights animal rights activists as one of art.